Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show today. I gotta invite my friends Julio and John from Count Your Dead. How you doing, guys?
Doing good.
Doing good, man. How's it going?
Going well, man. I had a little complication while I was fucking signing us onto the show, and I accidentally started us live without going to my intro. And so you caught the intro when we ended up catching back on right here. But I don't know if we got the right link out to the public real quick. So I'm gonna see if I could throw out find a share on here and maybe throw it out to the public real quick before we get into this. And let's see real quick. Stick with me.
Okay.
All right. Killer. Let's see. I'm gonna do. Where is that shit? Let's see. Back this up a bit. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. I think I want to get the show on the road. This still is coming up live on YouTube. So if anybody snatches up what we're doing, they will be able to jump in pretty quick. Let me see if I get a share on here real quick. Layout, cancel, no, not on there. Let me do one more thing. Right guest. Boom. All right. Real quick. Sorry about this, guys. I'm going to jump right the fuck back in, and we're going to get the show on the road. Thanks to everybody that is on the show right now to check it out. Please appreciate your patience. We're going to get busy with Count Your Dead's interview in just a moment here. And I'm just trying to make it available for other people to join in and join the show in case they got any questions or comments. Let's see. Boom. I think that should work. Let's see how that works. Okay, let's get to the show. Let's see. We're going to hit that real quick. And bam. Let's see. Let me type that in here real quick. You guys are too cool, man. Thanks a lot for your patience. Holy smoke. I didn't see this one coming. But
that's all right.
You know how sometimes shit fucking comes up, especially when you're doing things live. So we'll roll with the punches and get right to it. Let's see. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Back that up. Give it to me. That's it. Okay. Let's let it roll. Okay. Where are we at here? Guys, thanks a lot. Okay. Appreciate everybody's patience. Jesus. All right. Man, getting back to the meat and potatoes of the show here, man. Thanks a lot for joining me today, guys. And it was fucking awesome to have you guys just a few weeks ago at Baldy's Metal Brotherhood show over at the House of Rock, man. That was a great time.
Yeah, we had a good time, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
In Corpus.
Yeah. And I think you got something coming up in Corpus here again?
Nothing in the books right now for Corpus, but there always something always comes up in Corpus. So we're either playing House of Rock or Monk, or somewhere.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I know you guys are always ready to fucking throw down. And it was a fucking great show, dude. I like, the power, the presence. John always fucking gets in your face. If he was on the floor, he'd be right there singing in front of the fucking first person he can get into. And you really like to take the show to the people and bring that energy, dude. And I love that. And Chris back there in the drums, man, he fucking lays it out. He's got a killer drum set. He's fucking tight, very fucking tight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, bro. Well, I tell you what, I think we met back in the late 2000s with when I was still jamming with Killamora, and I'm not too sure when or where that first show might have been. Do you guys got an idea when that was?
Man, I think that might have been like at Zeros, maybe.
Zeros, yeah.
That sounds about right, man. Hell yeah. In those years, Zeros was fucking the main spot for all of our local bands to be able to play, and
that or the Underground too. Remember the Underground?
Yeah, that's right. The Underground, right off of Agnes.
Yeah.
Oh, Liao. I think it was Mike Liao. Rudy Liao running the Underground over there, dude. Badass. Yeah, that takes me back, man. Those are the days I remember seeing Excrete at the Underground and love Excrete. They were one of my favorite bands back there in the day. And shout out to Robert Beltran, the drummer from Excrete. He's doing He's on the road with the guys from El Nino running sound.
Awesome.
I'm telling you, that guy's a fucking. And you know what? Who else was playing back then? I want to say Sewn Shut was busy back then as well. Broken Face, and that was also another band that Fidel Tagle, who was jamming with us and Killamora, was part of for a little while. And Fidel was with you guys for a bit too.
Yeah, for a little while there.
Yeah, he definitely jammed with us, man. That guy's a beast on drums.
Right? Oh
Yeah.
shit! Oh man, I had the distinct pleasure of jamming 20 years with Fidel.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, dude. It's great to have that brotherhood and that kind of a working relationship, and with somebody that has shared so much with you. And it's just like you guys together. You shared, so much of your musical career together, and so many of the highs and the lows that come with it as well. So that's unbreakable kind of bond, and it's fucking special and unique. I'm glad you guys are keeping the fucking flame going. And if I'm correct, you guys have had the band going for how long exactly now?
Since 2010.
No,
Or no, well,
2000. The band started in 2006.
Yeah, and I've been with the band since late 2009, early 2010.
So
I've been with the band.
So it's been a while, man. We've been jamming for a while.
Yeah. So almost hitting that 15-year mark, right, Jonathan? Together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, me and Julio have history before Count Your Dead, even so.
Yeah.
Me and Julio have been jamming shit.
I think we played our first Corpus show when we were like 15, 16 years old.
We were young.
So
we were so young at our first show, we weren't even allowed to be in the venue. Yeah. We had to run up in there on stage, play our set, and get out of there as quick as we could. Yeah. We were only like 15 years old.
Yeah. Hey, I know how that was, man, because I've had to along the years have opening bands and we just had bands jamming with us where the members are minors, and you're playing at bars where they're beer licenses and all that shit to play, and they're like, you got to have them on and off the stage by 5 to 11. They got to be out of the place. And that's the drive though. Hey, man, already at that early age, already getting the gigs, man. That's fucking kick ass.
That was us back
that was before Count Your Dead. What was the name of that group?
Downlift.
Yeah. Killer, bro.
Yeah, that's when we first played at the underground.
At the underground, yeah.
Back then.
The name changed quite a few times. It was high school. We were landing on things, and we eventually landed on Downlift, but eventually that didn't even last. So
yeah, Count Your Dead has been the name that's lasted a long time.
Yeah, Count Your Dead was what. That's a keeper.
That's the keeper. Fuck yeah, dude. Yes. Well, how did you guys find Chris? How long's he been with y'all?
Chris has been with us, I want to say a little over 3 years now.
Yeah.
And we were looking for a drummer for a while. It turned out Chris lived like a mile down the road from this studio.
Man, we were jamming with drummers from Corpus. Even Fidel jam with us. And we never knew Chris was just right up the road, man. And
one day through being in a small town, somebody knew somebody, and they threw it out there on Facebook, and we got a call. We're like, "Yeah, come try out," and bam, we haven't got rid of him since. He hasn't left. We came down to the drum set, and we don't let him go home.
That kicks ass. Who else is Chris jam with? Anybody that you guys were familiar with by chance?
No, I think his jamming was more further north, like Bay City area, Houston area.
Yeah.
But the guy, man, he can jam. He's jammed with a lot of bands. So
he has a lot of experience behind that kid.
Well, I tell you what, John, tell me what inspired you to start singing, bro, and who's your favorite vocalist?
Oh God, that is the question, isn't it? That's so hard to answer that because what got me into singing, it was all by chance. I had no desire to be a singer or nothing. I was in middle school. I didn't give a shit about anything but video games and sleeping.
Yeah.
And then one day it just happened to me. Someone wrote some lyrics and they're like, "Hey, check this out." And I'm like, "Dude, you're my bro, but this is bad, man. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, this ain't that good. And the guy's like, well, you think you can do better? I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. He's like, try it. And well, here we are. I haven't stopped since. Wow. Just it happened one day. Once I started writing, I never stopped. And here we are.
Very cool. And any mentors, any guys you kind of look up to vocally?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm really influenced by bands like Pantera and Metallica, Korn, Slipknot, all those guys, Sepultura, Clutch, God, the list goes on and on. There's so many influences, it would be hard to even begin to say which one. They all influenced me. All of it did as a whole. Heavy metal, rock and roll. I mean, I listen to so many different genres of music as well. I listen to probably equally as much rock and roll and just old 70s music and 60s music as I do jam heavy metal. I mean, I don't stick just on one thing. I listen to a lot of shit. When people ain't looking, I'll be listening to Beethoven and instrumental shit like that, just we'll be looking.
Very cool. Hey, whatever it takes to soothe your inner beast, right? It's not always going to be metal. It's going to be, you're going to have your own favorites, your own things that you've, like I relate so much music along in the past in my history to moments in my life that were either good or bad. And the good ones I want to fucking always, remember because they make me feel good. So, I'll create a playlist on my Spotify with just all these great songs from the 70s, from the 60s, especially that I heard while my mom and dad were still together and shit like that. And it's hard to pinpoint it or really say this one or that one, man. Because, for me, it's like Hetfield. It's like Anselmo. It's like Henry Rollins. But at the same time, I fucking love Ozzy. I love Dio. I love fucking Halford. Even though I can't do those kind of vocals, they still inspire me to, want to write those kind of cool lyrics about medieval shit, about wars, and all the cool shit that we all like about metal. All those kind of topics that are very metallic. And, just I definitely feel where you're coming from. But what do you think? What about you, Julio? Who made you want to pick up the sixth string and start shredding, man? And is there a particular guitar player that is like the guitar god that is the be all end all, maybe?
Well, I used to be in band back in school. Played trumpet or something like that. I had a guitar, man, and these guys were like, when I met them back then, they're like, we're looking for a guitar player, and I go, well, I have a guitar, man. So they showed up at my house, and I didn't know how to play. I didn't know how to plug it in or anything. So it kind of took off from there. And but no, man, a lot of bands that have inspired me to play music. Again, Metallica, Pantera, all the badass guitar players. But I listen to a lot of Spanish music too. And so it's different. It's different, but it still inspires me to do something different. It's.
I dig it, man. I stumbled upon a video that you guys may have seen where Robert Trujillo is like in a back studio and he's playing a bunch of flamenco on guitar, acoustic guitar. Yeah. And James Hetfield walks in. He's like, "What the fuck? You're fucking good at that shit. What the?" Hey, he tells James, "Hey, I think we got another guitar player, dude. This guy's fucking bad." And but Robert Trujillo is just that kind of talent, man. He just nothing but fingers, just tearing it up like flamenco style, and it's unbelievable. And it just kind of
so people got that God-given talent, it's just awesome.
Right, dude. And guitar, there's so many different venues that it plays a role in the band and stuff that I've always I learned to play guitar for a little while in its integrity when our guitar player Emilio left to Austin. And I knew the music, but I just didn't know how to play guitar. But I always figured that I could probably pick it up. So I had our guitar player, Eddie, show me. And I was able to pull off a set playing guitar and singing at the same time. Because at the same time, I wanted to feel what it was like to be like a Hetfield, to be able to do that double job and still deliver the goods. And I did well, but it was good enough to at least find another guitar player out there that said, "Hey, dude, you looking for a guitar player?" And I was like, "Yes, you got the job." So it was a means to an end. But man, when it comes to guitar, man, I wish I could play it better because I got so many ideas in my head that I just don't always have the way of just laying it out.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's an ongoing battle.
It is. I'm telling you, and I still feel like we're still like, students of this whole music education that we're able to get, not only by the bands we like, but the other bands that people would be surprised that we enjoy. Yeah. And that kind of well-roundedness, I think, just provides a better life of enjoying music. Because, as a kid, I had a lot of tunnel vision where it was just metal or punk, and that was about it, and everything else sucked. Yeah. And after a while, you get over that hump and you realize, God, there's so much other good shit that makes my soul feel good. And if it feels good, it feels good. So
you don't have to just listen to what you play, Just because you play metal doesn't mean that that's all you have to be. To me, being a metalhead, it just do your own thing. You don't have to follow the rules, right? I mean, that's rock and roll. You're just sticking to one thing. You're following the rules. You're right back to square one.
Yeah, and I think metal is about not following the rules. That's why everybody does their own they create their own brand. You've got the Couch Dead brand. I'm working on my own War Cult brand, and everybody just keeps building and creating a fucking better beast. And always trying to strive for that your next best song. And exactly. That's part of the journey. That's why we love doing this shit. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me see. What was your first concert, John?
First show would have been back in 2003. God, a little dive bar, like 2 miles away from my house, actually. Yeah, here in my hometown. Yeah.
No,
are you talking about a concert I've been to?
Yeah, like say you went to see, I don't know.
Shit! Actually, there in Corpus Christi at Concrete Street, went to go see, who was it? First concert, shit. It was either Korn or
Stone Sour, man.
Yeah, that's right. It was fucking Chevelle and Stone Sour and a couple other guys were there. That was one of the first times I got to be there.
Fucking cool, badass.
I freaking love Concrete Street, man. Concrete Street's like home away from home. I always get treated well. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience in that place.
Yeah, man, I agree. It's a great venue, and I don't see why it doesn't. Have bands here more often, man, because it's a great venue, can fit a lot of people, and I think the crowd around here in our surrounding towns can support big bands like Lamb of God, like the Chevelles, like pretty much any kind of artist really that doesn't mind playing outdoors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we love Corpus, man. Corpus supports metal, man. Really, like one of the most metal towns in Texas, straight up Corpus Christi, man.
Fuck yeah, you. How about you, Julio? Who was your first concert? Who'd you go see?
Actually, I think you were in it, man. My first big show that I went to was Sounds of the Underground in 2006 at Concrete, and I think Killamora opened up that show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right? That's right. Oh, that was our first big break, man. That was one of the. That was the first time
the first time I seen you guys on stage. I was like, wait, these guys are from Corpus? Holy shit! Yeah, it was awesome.
It just goes to show, man, if you just get it together in the practice room and you need that opportunity to put it on the big stage, and when you do, you're going to kill it. You're going to kill it. And one of the best things I could say about that day was having the best sound I've ever fucking experienced. It's the monitors and everything. Because, when we in our game, we don't always get the best sound at the venues that we play at and the bars we play. And, we make the best of it and hope that everything is comes out kick-ass. But at a place like that, it was just unbelievable how good we fucking sounded. We brought half stacks and stuff like that, but all you needed just some great gear and execute it, and everything else took care of itself. And having a gig like that just really inspires you to keep fucking doing it, man, big time.
Yeah, man, that was the first time I went to a big major concert, and it was just, I was already hooked on playing music, but that was just like a reassurance. Yeah, that's what I want to do, So it's I think anybody that likes music, you go to a big concert like that, you get to see your favorite bands up on stage, and it makes it worth the while. It makes it it reassures you why you're a fan of theirs.
Yeah. Yes. Oh man, I tell you. It's like we're bowing at the ultra rock and roll, the heavy metal and shit, man. Every show, man, I wish, life didn't happen. So, I wouldn't change a thing, But you know, it's just as life gets a little bit more busier and the families get bigger and stuff, it sucks that we can't make it to all the fucking shows that we used to when we were young. You know, you got to pick and choose, and you know, sometimes there's not money in the budget to do it. You know, because
you ain't kidding, they ain't getting cheaper. That's for damn sure.
I know, right? Shit, the last one I really wanted to go see that I had to turn down was Metallica in fucking Arlington, because the tickets. Yeah, that one on Friday. Dude.
Yeah.
That would have been the shit, but you know, I just couldn't afford. Like, they started at $250, but by the time I missed my opportunity, they were already at $400 in the nosebleed section. So, yeah, it's a heartbreaker. But you know, I made it to the Pantera on Sunday. You know, those tickets were $50 in the lawn.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
Dude, I was fucking happy.
Those are the prices we were used to. You know, I remember when you could go to a show for $30, $40.
I tell you, and now the T-shirts. Fuck, dude, they were $35 at the Pantera show. Yeah, man, I remember they used to be $15, $20. So,
yeah,
it's the same shirt. The thing is that the venues are taking cuts out of it. They want to have 5% of whatever sold. So that doesn't get discounted to the band. It gets passed on to the consumer. So we end up paying out for that extra shit to make it all available. Yeah. You know, it's a business. It's a huge business, and you know, if we don't play, we don't get the show. We don't get to enjoy the show. So.
That's it. It's pay to play.
That's right. Pay to play. Fuck yeah. Well, you know, I love your latest single, Inimical. It fucking kicks ass, dude. It's a bad one. I'm glad you guys threw it down here a few weeks ago. And I wanted to ask, who takes care of your videos?
It's a group effort. Chris did a lot of the editing and storyboarding. Me and Chris really kind of brainstormed on some things. But I mean, Julio had just as much say so, and it's always a group effort. You know, we don't ever just throw it all onto one person.
Did you shoot it?
Yeah, we actually filmed that one here in my studio.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, and it was we got what we're looking for. We've had other music videos, like the one prior to that, Rage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we filmed that at the old Yoakum Haunted Hospital, in Yoakum, Texas. So we're like, this one we want it to be different, not in such a big space, and that's kind of what we got with this one. It's dark, it's to the point, more focused on the music than anything else. But next video, it might be another bigger production and bigger, location.
Yeah, very cool. I like it, man. Fuck yeah. Well, I posted that earlier because that came out great, dude, and definitely, I want to keep pushing that song, dude. That's a big one. Do you have another single maybe coming up in the works somewhere down the line?
Actually, within the next week or two, we'll be releasing something brand new, fresh out the oven.
Yeah. Oh, but it's coming up. We got another song. It's high paced, heavy. It's a lot different than Inimical. Inimical's heavy, sluggish. And it hits. And this one is going to be different pace, but it's heavy front to back, man. It's a good old metal song.
That's all right. Kick ass. I can't wait to see that. Well, I saw some of the videos you guys put out for your Nevada run, dude. That was cool. That was the poor the production of it was funny. It was cool to keep up with. And tell me about your Nevada run. How did that go?
It was fun, man. We enjoyed it. We had a blast. We rode together, and we had our bus. Our bus was down, so we had to rent a minivan. So that kind of brought everyone into a confined space. Yeah. So we had a blast, man. Actually, those videos we had to compile that out of like 20 something hours of footage.
Yeah, we had a lot of footage, but we just pulled out all the good stuff and had to put some quacks and moves over the foul language.
That's what it was, dude. The fucking
the hard yard language.
Oh shit! I thought maybe it was Chris, and that was it was shit he was talking, but he had it covered up with the sound effects, so it was all the cursing, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a lot, man. There's a lot of videos, and you know how it is when you start, just kind of having a good time. It's not all user friendly.
That's awesome, bro. And for a trip like that, you gotta save those memories and capture those moments like that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, there were things that we didn't get to film that I wish we could have, like when we're getting chased by a mountain. for God knows how long we were driving, there was this one mountain in the same position, no matter how many turns we took, or we felt like we were being followed by the same mountain. That was one bit that I wish we could have got more film about. We had a good time. But seeing the sights, going from Texas all the way to Nevada, road trip wise, you know, I mean, we could have flown, but it was about seeing the sights. We got to stop in Roswell and see some stuff. I mean, the whole trip up there, it was fun. That was an experience I would love to do again as soon as possible.
And you know, the show itself, man, the way they ran the operation there in that venue, we were right on Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, it was different. You know, it's different than what we were used to over here. They were tight. They were, you know, everything was organized, security. Everything was just like clockwork. Everything was just moving the way it should. You know, they were pushing the bands, your time schedule, you played, you move on, get the other band on stage. There was 2 stages going on at the same time. So we got lucky. We got to play twice. The band dropped off. So they asked us if we wanted to pick up the slack. We said, hell yeah, we're here already. We might as well play.
Yeah, doing things country death style. We were right there at the front door about 3 hours before the venue opened up. So yeah they're like, hey, you guys, someone dropped out. Y'all down? Shit. We were on that stage before they finished that sentence.
Dude.
Oh, man. It was fun, man. It was an experience.
Yeah. There was bands from all over the place. Alaska. I mean, out of country bands from other countries. It's pretty neat, man, to see other, you know, than what we're used to here in Texas. We run the whole Texas circuit back and forth, so we kind of know all the bands in the surrounding areas. But you go out there and you got bands from, like, I think there was bands from New Zealand, and there was bands from
a lot more diversity.
Yeah. So South America, it was pretty neat to see that.
Very, very fucking cool, dude. I love the hunger, dude. You guys, hey, you want another? Somebody dropped out. You want to get it? Hell yes, dude. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. That's how I am, man. And it's hard to find the right chemistry in the band members where everybody wants that same shit. And you guys have got, and so what a fucking package, man. Way to fucking go out there and kill it, dude. How did you guys stay? What did you do to keep yourselves, you know, distracted on the road? Did you play any games? Did anything particular that you did to kill some time on that long ass road trip?
Pretty much the whole time up there, it was just us talking shit to each other, joking around, keeping our. I think we laughed the entire way up there, so much so that it was almost painful. Like our lungs hurt when we got up there. We were laughing the whole way up there, but the whole way back, I think we're all delirious and all just
tired,
jet lagged without the jet.
Yeah,
just tired, exhausted. We lived it up out there. It was a pain in the ass. It was rough. It was uncomfortable, but it was worth it in the end.
Yes. Let me share something with you. Whenever, you know, I haven't really gone out of town very, very much lately in the past few years, but when I would go out of town with the bands, I like to play. It's basically called the metal name game, where, say, for instance, I come up with the first band name, Testament, and you got to come up with another band's name made up with the last letter of my band's name. So Testament would be a T, so you got to come up with another band T. So you say Therion, and then Julio's got to come up with a band name with the name N, starting with the last name of Therion, which is an N. Could be Nevermore. And then it goes back and forth. After a while, you start running out of fucking band names.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's cool because each one of us have went down our own little rabbit holes when it comes to metal and rock and hard rock, that we know bands that each of us aren't familiar with, and vice versa. So sometimes you come across names where it's like, hey, dude, that's not a real band name. Yeah, dude.
Look it up.
And I'm like, no. It's like, well, let's look him up.
Chris would win that game versus us. Chris would always win that game.
Yeah, Chris has all.
He's very diverse. He listens to a lot of new music, a lot of different things. He listens to a wide array of things.
Well, you know, sometimes you can break it down. You can even go to band albums. You can go to song titles and shit like that. So something to think about next time you guys are on the road together, man. It's a lot of
road game. Hell yeah.
Think about it as when we're on the road and we're on the bus, they're usually back in the back having a good old time, and I'm just Just driving. I'm like, damn it.
I'll be back there. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
It's like driving a bunch of little kids.
I get it. Oh man, but you know, being on the road, it's so much fun. Nowadays, it's a little different for me because I'm more of a road warrior on the weekend, and when I do get out, I want to take my wife with me so we can go hang out together because I'm not going to leave her behind. You know, she wants to get out of town as well. So you know, because of that, we don't all travel as a band like we used to back in the day, and it's a little different. But you know, when we get there, we make up for it and we start hanging and have a great time together. But I love the camaraderie that comes whenever you can just travel together in a band and like you said, in the van together, you know, in close quarters, it's a great way to fucking bond and make the best of the trip.
Yeah, it's you know, my wife used to go with us on shows all the time. We went on tour to Northern California. We got back. She goes, "Okay, I've seen my fair share. I'm done. You guys go play shows. I don't want no part of it."
Yeah, and you know what? I know what she's talking about. You know, we did like 3 shows back in the day with Killamora and with another band called Beyond All Reason. They were from New York City, and they were on this show on MTV called like a Battle for Ozfest, and they were one of the bands that were competing. They didn't win. I think it was a band out of Dallas that ended up winning. And but Beyond Our Reason was on there, and we did like 3 shows, maybe Austin, San Antonio, and Corpus. Noah the Valley was one of them. And man, I just found myself so fucking restless throughout the day, waiting for the show. And but that's a highlight. You know what I mean? It all pays off when you do get to do the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, because I am a weekend warrior, I'm used to, you know, always finding something to do around the house and also having those days where I don't do shit around the house, but just, you know, veg out and just eat and cook and just enjoy the free time. But, you know, I gotta say I am jealous of my bro, like John Luna, who's like a co-star on the Tony Gomez show when we do our episodes of the Downbeat during the week. He got his gig playing percussion with El Nino on this last Double Trouble tour with Cradle of Filth and Devil Driver. Awesome. Yeah, man, it's like holy shit, man. It's so awesome to see that the opportunities still come around if you stay busy and you stay involved and you stay true to your craft. That you know, breaks are gonna happen, man. Guys like me and you guys, you know, it's not the end. It's not like we're seeing an end goal. It's just part of who we are, and I feel like, you know, the 3 of us wouldn't be doing it any other way if we had the chance to do it any other way. Yeah. We'd still want to be making music, playing on stages, and doing that out of just the fulfillment that that we can do it. Man, fuck, it feels great.
It does. It's something we've done for such a long time. You can't just walk away from it. At least we can't. You know, we were kids when we started, man, and now we're in it.
Yeah, it's who we are. It's not just something we do. It's who we are. It's who we.
And I'm sure you feel the same way. You've been doing it forever, and you know that's something you are. It's not something you just do for the hell of it. That's how you express yourself. So
absolutely, I remember my parents saying, "Yeah, he's just going through a phase. He'll grow out of it one day." Yeah. And you know, it's just here I am. You know, still at it and still loving it and just very appreciative, dude, to be able to still have a show and be able to have friends like you guys still in the game doing it together. It's definitely a wonderful life, a wonderful fucking metal brotherhood kind of life to be a part of. So let me ask this. Do you guys like to collect anything? Are you collectors of like vinyls or maybe concert souvenirs or, you know, comics or maybe anything?
I'm a slight collector of flyers for shows that I've played.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. We all got our different niche, man. I like, you know, guns and you know, I go shooting and stuff, and I'm sure Chris has his own you know, that guy probably has 4 or 5 drum sets, whatever he has, man. And so we all got our thing, you know.
Yeah.
But
very cool, man. I collect vinyls and yeah, I like to collect you know, whatever kind of souvenirs I can get. I love getting fucking drumsticks. I love drumsticks, and if the drummer's got his name on, I'm like, yeah, that's the shit. And guitar picks, I can see a bunch that I got. I've got like Joe Holmes and fucking Vivian Campbell, Machine Head, and I love those kind of souvenirs because it's another reminder that I was at that show. Because sometimes nowadays you don't even get a concert ticket like we did back in the day. Yeah, a lot of it is digital. And it's I want a fucking hard copy of the band's name with the date and all that kind of cool shit.
That's I guess our generation, man. We're used to the physical copies of stuff. The CDs, the vinyl, the cassettes. Something you can hold in your hand and go, "This is what I have." To me, a digital, it's all great, download, but you lack that whole, this is what I got. Even if you don't play no more, look what I got,
Right.
Kind of puts a stamp in that time and era, whenever that happened.
Yes.
It brings you back to that year or whatever.
Absolutely. And for me as a fan, I like to be able to buy merchandise from the bands I like. I like to support. And that's an easy way to do it. If they got cassettes and CDs and merchandise and T-shirts and all that good stuff, that's direct stuff that you can actually help the band that's right now. When they got merch tables and stuff for sale, that's the time to take advantage of it, because that's what actually ends up in the artist's pocket, not always whenever you buy a record and something like that, where you only get fractions of what sale price is. And I got to encourage more artists to make sure you hold on to your music, and don't sell it off. And it's great to get signed and all that, but at the same time, hold on to your property, your intellectual, your property, your music, lyrics, and all that stuff, because we work too hard to let it fall in the hands of somebody that has no part of it and really shouldn't have a cut in it. But if they're able to put that music somewhere where you can get more exposure and more more comeback on it, well then I don't mind sharing some percentages and shit like that. But I just feel like so many artists before us have just been robbed, and a lot of it is because they're hungry, and like me as well, I don't want to fucking do that part. I don't want to have to worry about distribution and all that kind of. Let me just make music, but I get burned at the same fucking time. Fuck. I feel like, just anyway.
The environment nowadays, you can do so much for yourself now. It's not like in the 90s, early 2000s, where you really, or 80s, where you have to depend on somebody to get you out there. Now you can distribute your own stuff. You can merchandise your own stuff. It's in your hands a lot now. Sure, it helps having a management company, helps, but you can do a lot for yourself before you get there. You can.
Absolutely. I think that's right. 120% right. Because really there's nothing that other management company is going to do that you couldn't do for yourself if you just, make the time for it. And absolutely right, man. Let me ask you this. The other night, I don't know, I was reminiscing on some good times of when I started getting into wrestling, and I was watching some fucking old videos of the WWE Attitude Era on Peacock, on my Peacock app. And I loved fucking The Rock and Stone Cold and DX back in the day, and the competition that was going on the other side with WCW with like the New World Order and fucking Goldberg and those guys. And did you guys ever get into wrestling?
We kind of did back in the day. Our ex-bass player Trey, he's hard into that, man. So it definitely was part of our upbringing there. Even if we didn't get 100% into it, we were all aware of the rivalry that was going on. We all knew the wrestlers. We all knew the what was going on.
Yeah, that's funny. I always kind of bring that up into my interviews because like you said, it's always kind of around, man. And nowadays it's so much part of our culture. These guys there's so much personality and stuff. They come out in a lot more than just a wrestling show now. They're making movies and doing all kinds of other shit.
Yeah, there's not. I'm sure you can name Stone Cold Steve Austin to a lot of people, and they would know who he is. So just because they're not wrestlers anymore, they created such an impact on their time they were around that they're just forever.
Right. That just reminds me of Chris Jericho. Look at this guy, man, fucking with Fozzy and being a badass singer. And it's just a part of what he does. And he's a kick-ass podcaster too. So, you know, it's just another example on how if you want it, you don't have to get a manager. You just got to get out there and do it. Make it happen.
Yeah, keep fighting for it,
That's right. Keep fighting for it. How about movies, man? You guys into horror movies or comedies, actions? What do you guys like to? Do you have a favorite movie that you always kind of like? Hey, I'm gonna check this one out. Anything like that, John?
Oh yeah, no, I have a lot of favorite movies, but it depends. In every genre, I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'm one of those guys. I don't care. Beggars can't be choosers. I like all of it. Same thing with Marvel. I am a Marvel nerd. But that's only because I grew up reading the comics. So I'm just interested to see what they're going to do one direction or the other. I don't care. It's all Marvel to me.
I love it all too. Fuck yeah.
But like favorite movies, one of my favorite movies, I'm not big into Westerns, but the movie Tombstone, God, I remember seeing that in theaters back when I was a little kid. And that movie blew my mind then and it blows my mind now. It was a great movie.
I'm telling you, man. That's
a great movie. You know, movies like Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, all that. I mean, I'm a big movie nerd, but it's, you know, movies is something that's always been a part of my life since I can remember. It's always been there.
Those are great ones right there, dude. Hell yeah. How about you, Julio? How about you guys?
Growing up, I was a big fan of the action stars, you know, like Arnold and Van Damme and all that. But I think my favorite movies that I like, man, was Jackie Chan. You know, Rumble in the Bronx, First Strike. Yeah, all the movies, man. We're growing up. We were in martial arts, so those were our heroes and stuff. So, I mean, up to now, still the movies that kind of you watch them and you just they never get old.
Yes, bro. You know what I liked about Rumble in the Bronx? It always seemed like there was a little voice delay too. Was it just me?
Yeah.
Almost
I don't know. I don't know, man. I think what happened is they redubbed his English parts, you know, over his acting. Yeah, so I mean, he still did his own English lines, but I think he didn't do them as he was filming the movie. You know, it was dubbed over. So I think that's what happened. I'm not 100%, but that's just one of those
something just a little bit off when it came to that movie and as a translator as I'm watching it and shit. But yeah, that was one of my favorites, dude. When it comes on, like when I'm streaming through shows like on Freebie, Rumble in the Bronx, I'm like, okay, let me watch the beginning because I like the beginning where the gang goes in there and fucking fucks up the store, and then he comes in there and starts kicking everybody's ass. And
you know, the fight scenes were awesome.
What about you? Said Arnold. What's your favorite Arnold movie? Was it maybe Predator or T2, Judgment Day?
Nah, man. I mean, I like those movies for sure, but I was a fan back with like Commando or Eraser, you know, or
Eraser.
Man, he had a lot of good movies. He had some goofy ones too.
End of Days, man.
End of Days, man. That's an awesome movie. You ever watch that one?
Which one was it?
End of Days.
End of Days, yes.
Yeah.
He takes on
the soundtrack was badass. It was a great song on that one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was one of his darker movies right there.
Yeah.
Late 2000, early 2000s.
Yeah, like 2000, 1999, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I think was it Tim Roth that comes out? Was he like the devil in that one?
So I can't remember the actor that was the devil, but yeah, that's who he fought was the devil in that one.
That was
that's banking on the whole Y2K. Remember that?
Yeah.
Y2K. Yeah.
I remember that year going up to New Year's Day or New Year's Eve and partying that night and wondering what the fuck's gonna happen. You know, when
things turn off. Yeah.
And and nothing happened. Nothing happened. So
I think in the back of our heads we kind of knew nothing was gonna happen, but since everyone was talking about it, it was like, well, what if it does happen? You know, if all the lights turn off. Well, here we are, 23 years later.
People were expecting a scene from Maximum Overdrive with all the electronics attacking everyone, and nothing happens.
No shit, right? Thank God it didn't happen like that. But I tell you what, when you mention that, it gets me thinking about artificial intelligence. And nowadays, that's fucking huge. You see about it on TV about, you know, IBM coming up with all these different things. And I can't think of the name of what it is, but Maxwell or something. But it's an AI device that is creating different kind of things for businesses that are just taking things at such a huge rate. And
I think they should have watched more 80s movies. And, you know, they were warning us, man.
Terminator warned us.
Yeah.
Warning us, dude. Yes, man. I think the Terminator it's the whole outline for what we could see in who knows what kind of future, whether it's a year or 10 years from now.
Man, when you start seeing AI make art, you know, and where does that put us, man? Sooner or later, it's going to get better than we are. But there's not going to be any soul to it, you know. It's machine made. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you know what? And that may be all right if you're staying at home, if you're always on your phone and stuff like that. But if you got to go out and if you love seeing live music like we do, nobody and no machine is going to be able to replace what you two guys do on stage, what Chris does, and the three of you guys coming together. So I think we got that going for us. So we got the heart and the soul and the music and the presence and the energy that AI can't duplicate. And I say because I want to say maybe 2-3 months ago, I heard an AI version of it's AC/DC, and it's Bon Scott singing "You Shook Me All Night Long," which was sung by Brian Johnson, but it's AI doing Bon Scott singing Brian Johnson. And it sounds like fucking Bon Scott, and it sounds good.
Yeah. Well, you know, but when it's a video about something good like that, that's all good in games. But what happens when they start making videos of you know, robbing a place or, you know?
No shit. Yeah. You know,
if you're killing somebody, what's going to happen then?
Yeah. Because
I don't know. You can start going down the rabbit hole and just. You know, just never ending.
Absolutely, bro. Well, you know, I always like to keep the show uplifting and fun and stuff. So I don't want to take us down a dark road that AI. You know what I mean? But one last thing, when it comes to AI, have you seen the movie Megan?
No, I know of the movie, but I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, you gotta watch it. It's pretty entertaining. It's basically like Chucky, but an AI version, and she's badass. Somewhat like almost like an Arnold, like a Terminator, because she's fucking robotic and super strong and shit. So it's definitely entertaining. If you get a chance, check it out. It's pretty cool.
Check it out.
Yeah. Let me ask you, John, first of all, what would be your dream concert or festival?
Oh God, anything. You remember the old Pantera DVDs, the Monsters of Moscow?
Yeah.
You remember the crowd, anything like that. If you're talking dream scenarios, that's the dream scenario. Or Woodstock, you know, something like that. If you're talking dream scenarios now, but the more people, the better. That's about me. The more people I can perform for, the better. I just want to jam in front of as many people as possible. That's the dream. The dream is to see just people as far as I can see.
People just I'm telling you, that would be amazing. It can happen. It can fucking happen.
Yep. That's what we're working towards. Every day that we do things, that's what it's all working towards. Moments like that.
Fuck yes. What about you, Julio? What do you think?
You know, I mean, I kind of agree with what he said, but you know, growing up in this area, our dream show was always, you know, we're so close to Corpus here. We're only an hour north of Corpus. All our shows we ever saw were at Concrete. So our dream when we were growing up was always play the main stage in Concrete Street. You know, the main stage.
Even the pavilion.
Which you know about that. You know, even the pavilion would be badass. But that's one of our dreams. That's always been, even in the back. You know, since we were teenagers. We're like, man, get up there one day. You know, instead of being down here watching the bands, be up there playing. So that was kind of, I think that's always been a goal. You know, a stage like that, even if it's not, you know, 200,000 people in front of you, just to step on that stage would be pretty badass.
I feel you, dude. 1,000%. Fuck yeah. And like John said, the pavilion kicks ass too.
Yeah.
I've been able to jam that one with El Nino and also with Static X, and it's just as fucking good as the main stage too, because it's the great sound and the crowd right there in front of you. And yeah, real quick, I would probably say, because I really like this question a lot, but my dream concert, I'd probably say, since I posted a picture that I came across the other day. It was the Clash of the Titans, man, and that's that Metallica, Anthrax, and hold on, did I say Metallica? Bullshit, they weren't on that. It was Slayer, Megadeth, and Alice in Chains opened up. And I think that would probably be that might be it, man.
It's hard to beat that lineup right there.
Yeah, bro, especially at that era too. That was, I think, Season in the Abyss. It was a State of Euphoria, and it was Rest in Peace. Fuck, oh, sick. And Alice in Chains on the first album. Great fucking time. Great time. Well, I tell you what, let's get into a segment that I like to finish off our interviews with, and it's called Draw the Line. So I want to ask you guys some questions, and let me know what's your favorite out of the two subjects I'm going to be throwing at y'all. All right, and let's get started with. I'm going to start off with John, and you tell me, who do you prefer out of these two bands, Devil Driver versus Lamb of God?
Oh God, I would say probably Lamb of God. To be honest, Lamb of God.
Those are big boys, man. Lamb of God. So how about you, Julio? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're Devil Driver fans, but I think Lamb of God takes the cake on that one. Yeah.
Randy's such a beast, and Dez is such a beast on vocals, and they got both got tremendous fucking talented musicians backing them up. It's a hard decision, man, but Lamb of God just got so many songs that we've just we know the words too, we know everything, and Devil Driver in there too. But yeah, I feel you, both of you guys, Lamb of God. Okay, next couple bands. John, As I Lay Dying versus Killswitch Engage.
Oh God, that's a toughie. I don't know, for some nostalgia purposes, I would say Killswitch. That's just because anytime I hear a Killswitch, just nostalgia. It takes me back to the day back when.
They've been around for so long, a good decade.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. Just for nostalgia purposes, how much I used to jam them back in high school and stuff. Yeah, I'd have to give it to Killswitch on that one.
Do you prefer the Jesse or the Howard Jones era?
All of it.
I mean, they had their high points on both sides.
Yeah, they did.
Of course, with Howard Jones, they did a lot of movie soundtracks, and I think that's why they developed such a big following.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen both of them live, and I just love the fucking presence of Howard Jones, man. He knows how to work the crowd, and he's a funny guy. I've seen him do interviews and shit like that, and so I like the personality that even Adam Duckowitz always brings to the stage. He's such a cut up guitar, and I like his show. And if it's not going to be a big production, make me fucking laugh and let me see how much fun you guys are having doing it, and that'll make up for it. So Killswitch is one of those bands, man. That's why they've stood the test of time. They've really been like like Cannibal Corpses to death metal. They're top of the crop, and Killswitch is like the top of the crop in that metalcore scene right there. And love them. Which one do you prefer out of those two, Julio?
I like both of them bands, man. But I would say, for like the same reason he said, we were so caught up back in we were younger with Killswitch. There weren't a lot of them. When I first heard of them, what movie was that?
Was the Freddy vs. Jason soundtrack?
Yeah, something like
shit.
that. Yeah.
Soundtrack.
Yeah, it was one of the soundtracks when I first.
And they had some stuff on that Resident Evil 2 soundtrack. There was quite a few soundtracks that were on back in the day.
So that's kind of when I came around with them. Before that, I was more Metallica, Sepultura, Megadeth, all that kind of stuff. And I slowly started coming into the metalcore kind of era, and hearing some of those newer bands. For me back then, that was newer bands, and I think that's why I have more of a connection with them than I do, with the other guys. But I think they're both hellacious good bands. I mean, what are you going to do?
Right? Hell yes. Let me stretch out over here. I didn't lock my door. My dog just walked in and kind of changes the dynamic of my vocals whenever I'm recording on this side, whenever you can hear what my wife's doing in the other room. So excuse me for a second. Yeah, you know, you remember seeing As I Lay Dying. That was one of your first concerts whenever, you know, we did the Sound to Underground, right?
Yep. Yeah, it was Lamb of God, them, who else was there? You guys and what was the old man?
Cannibal Corpse,
It was Trivium, yeah, Trivium.
Behemoth, already back then. Behemoth back already fucking kicking ass. Oh shit. It was a hell of a fucking lineup. But okay, let's move on to some more of the classic era of metal. John, who do you prefer out of Ozzy Osbourne versus Dio? Ronnie James Dio.
I guess I was always partial more to Ozzy and Sabbath, you know.
Okay.
Just, you know, Ozzy. I mean, Dio, I've been around his stuff too, but just honestly, a lot of my friends used to just jam Ozzy all the damn time, so I couldn't escape it. So it was always there. It was, yeah. I was always jamming Ozzy back in high school and middle school days.
Fuck yeah. I love the Madman. What about you, Julio? Who do you prefer?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. Well, again, Ronnie, you know, he's done a lot of great stuff, and he did, you know. But I guess on the solo stuff, Ozzy probably takes it for me for the solo stuff. Black Sabbath, that's a toss up, you know. They both did good stuff for it, so
can't bring them up without bringing up Sabbath, you know.
So I would have to say they're both on par for me. I don't really have a favorite one, but there's some stuff I like from Ozzy more than you know, Ronnie. But there's stuff that I like from Ronnie that, you know, just I think he did better than Ozzy at doing certain styles of music, you know. So
yeah. Very well said. Very well said. And you know what? You know, I think of like the Mob Rules. I love fucking Dio on the Mob Rules. And then I think of, you know, Ozzy on Paranoid. And it's like, I can't imagine either one of those being a song that they did. You know, I can only see.
You can't imagine Ozzy doing that. You know, it's just, they did it their own way, and it fits. Yeah. It
definitely fits. And, you know, and me growing up, Ozzy was the first one I came across, you know, and then Dio comes out with Holy Diver and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, well, let me backtrack a little bit. Well, the first thing I caught was at Craig's Record Factory here in town. And of course, buying the Black Sabbath albums that I remember those days, they were like nice price. And so you were able to buy them at almost discounted versus, you know, like the Metallica or Wasp album that was coming out at the same time. And, it was nothing but Sabbath. It's like we sold our soul for rock and roll. So like I was like with John, where we all listened to fucking Ozzy, the Sabbath era, as far as when it came to that. And yeah, I would hear some Heaven and Hell played, but very seldomly. It would be mostly Ozzy, you know, Snowblind. It would be fucking Paranoid, Iron Man, you know, War Pigs, all of that fucking good shit. And when it became to Dio, it would always be Dio's solo stuff.
Yeah.
And so, you know, out of the two, I'm more like Julio. I can't decide out of the two because they're so fucking badass, and I love them for, you know, I wish Dio could have done a festival like Ozfest. Can you imagine what he would have brought to the table?
Yeah. But you know, they were so different in the way they did stuff. You can't. It's hard to put them in the same boat. You know, Dio did things so different than Ozzy as far as vocal styles that.
Yeah.
It's hard to put them in the same cradle. They're good for what they did separately.
Yeah, and you know that's the thing about a metal singer. They're so unique and such a trademark sound for any band that they're with that it's hard to fill those shoes after they leave. It's hard to replicate that same kind of feeling live, and it's almost like a badass movie. It's hard to have a badass follow up to it. You know,
but a different character. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. A different character. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. All right. So I love those two singers. So much respect to rest in peace, Dio and Ozzy. Please keep yourself fucking healthy. We need him to fucking still be that metal ambassador, even if he can't do Ozfest. Fucking just put it together and just be the curator and maybe just come out and announce the bands or something. But don't let that thing that he created, that I think was one of the best things to happen to metal and to American culture for a good 10 years, when he, brought Ozfest to the masses and made this avenue for all these up and coming bands to get major exposure, because they're opening for bands like System of a Down and Slayer and Judas Priest and shit. It would have never happened any other way, but because they know Ozzy, and because of the power of his name and the festival that he can put together, it's a win-win for anybody that can up on that ride. So I hope it comes back. Okay, I got 3 more questions for you. All right, real quick. I'm going to start with Julio on this one. Who do you prefer out of the guitar players, Jimmy Page versus Tony Iommi?
Man, again, different styles. The different demons there. But I guess Iommi was he's closer to, or I'm closer to what he did. More straightforward kind of riffing. Not too much of the fancy stuff, but more of the driven guitar rhythms, and I think that's why I've always been more of a Iommi fan. I felt like we connected more on the way I riff to what he did.
Yes.
And, I've never been the fancy guitar player, the bright, flashy solos. It's always been kind of rhythm driven songs. And I kind of connected more with, what he did. So I think Iommi would be for me. Yeah.
Killer. What do you think, John?
It depends on how drunk I am. I mean, they both jam. Like I said, it's hard to even say that it's all music. It all fucking jams.
I love, sure, you guys have heard the connotations that, Black Sabbath, we are the godfathers of heavy metal, and the same thing can be said about Led Zeppelin as well. But I think it really sticks to fucking Black Sabbath being the godfathers of real heavy fucking metal. And when it comes to Zeppelin, give them the hard rock title. Give them
I think
there you go. That's a damn good way to put it.
They didn't have going back to the guitar part, they didn't have the dark grittiness to them like Sabbath did. Sabbath had
and their imagery.
All the
imagery alone.
They got it over the years and took it into the minor chords and made it sound dark and just like that song Black Sabbath, those 2 notes. So 3 notes are just fucking hard. Holy shit.
So and and the other guys they were probably, like you said, on the rock and roll side of things. I'm not saying they weren't heavy for their time, but they were just not as dark as Sabbath was,
Exactly, but they were great for what they were.
Oh yeah,
can't take anything away from them.
Right. What I find is that's also even so much more entertaining about the whole Led Zeppelin history was Jimmy Page's involvement in the black arts, in black magic, and and buying Mr. Crowley's castle. You know what I mean? That's fucking far out. That is definitely fucking metal.
Oh, you know it, yeah. But again, I think it still goes back to he was doing a lot of cool metal stuff, but I think their music, and I'm not saying their music is not metal to a big point, and a lot of their stuff is heavy in that aspect, but I guess we got to see how the heaviness of that era, compared to now heavy. If you compare them to now heavy, you can consider both of them bands rock and roll more than metal, but just because it's gotten so much heavier, so much faster than what they were doing.
Very well said, exactly, because you gotta great apples with apples and oranges with oranges, and at that time that's the way it was. Oh, dude, definitely. Oh shit, I love it, dude. I love it. And thinking about one of the, John, I know you know where I'm coming from. You got to help me with the title of this song, but basically I think of it as Thor's theme song now from Led Zeppelin. What is it?
Oh,
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
I know the song. I can hear the song in my head, but I can't think of the title. God.
No, man. It's fucking
Oh, no. Exactly. I could hear the song in my head playing right now. The title.
That's one of the more metal riffs that Zeppelin was already bringing to the table. For that era, that was heavy. Just like you said, for that era, ooh, that was a heavy one. Oh, badass. And I love the way. I love
think of like the 70s with Kiss, man. Kiss used to be the devil's music, you know. And I mean, they're about as rock and roll as they come, you know. But for their era, that was it, you know. And I'm sure people will look back down at the, you know, our era later on in history and say, well, they weren't that heavy, you know. Lamb of God wasn't that heavy, you know. Who knows? We'll see.
I know, right? You know, 10 years ago, I was listening to music and the question came to my head, and I'm sure it's crossed your mind too, is how fucking heavier can it get? How fucking heavier can this shit get? And then still you hear bands that come out and you're like, God damn, that's fucking brutal. That's sick. And it's whether it be like somebody like Ingested from overseas, or maybe a Legion, who is just one of those tightest fucking, so almost super fucking artistic and sick, and oh shit, man, it's just how heavier can it get? I don't know, but
the complexity of the way they play, it's getting heavier, but it's getting more complex. You know, the riffs are getting really articulate on the way they do stuff. It's changing. I mean, the environment. Chris knows a lot about this new style that's coming out. He's really into it. You know, the new stuff. So if he was here, he could tell you 1,000 more different things than I can or he can, but it's changing for sure, man. It's not the metal we grew up listening to, that's for damn sure.
Right, the evolution is fucking amazing, and I'm just glad that there's the generations before us and now are keeping it alive, man. Because I need new bands to listen to. I need more things that are going to keep turning me on and keep me excited about music. And if it wasn't for the drive and the creativity of these young guys that are inspired by everybody that we listen to, you know, in the history of metal and shit, then things would just kind of get a little boring. But luckily, that's the thing about metalheads. And I think in general, I don't want to toot my horn or anything, but I feel like we got some pretty fucking good heads on our shoulders, man. We're not idiots. We got a lot of fucking super smart guys that are in our business that you wouldn't expect that they have fucking degrees and they're doctors and they've just got companies and all kinds of shit, but they also play metal and they're fucking bad, you know. So I'm just very appreciative, and I got so much respect for everybody that does what we do, because it doesn't always get as much respect on the outside world as it does within our own community. And I think it deserves more respect, because it's something really amazing. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know what, metal's never going to die, but if anything were to happen to it, it's the phrase never gets old. You don't know what you got till it's gone. And God willing, I just think the metal guys will never let metal leave, man. It's gonna take the end of humanity to get rid of metal. That's about it. You're gonna have to.
I would tell people we're like roaches, man. You can't get rid of us. You know, you can be the apocalypse. You can drop a nuke, and we'll still be crawling around.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. Metalheads,
assault can happen.
And survivors.
Survive. Shit. Okay, I got two more for you. All right. How about John? Killamora versus Machine Head.
Personally, Killamora.
All right. What was your favorite album from Killamora?
Oh God, a lot of their early stuff. I can't even really name albums. It was all, I used to have this playlist of just random shit, and Killamora was all littered in there. It's hard to really pick an album. A lot of their early stuff was just freaking jammed.
Hard, dude. I think
a lot of that shit influenced some of the things I do. It's just heavy. Love it.
Mark Hunter, what a fucking badass vocalist right there. And I think they did their catalog is fucking heavy and brutal, but the one album out of so many bands that I remember hearing back in that little era, within that 10-year era, was The Impossibility of Reason. I think that was their Master of Puppets. I think that was the best thing that they'd be able to do. And it just had some great musicianship. And the writing was, to me, almost to that same caliber as Metallica. They were just missing like that Master of Puppets song where they stop and it comes back with an acoustic part and builds back up again. And I don't think anybody can do that as well as Metallica has, you know, where they do like Justice for All, Master of Puppets, where they're able to, well, you know, one song that kind of reminds me of that is Holy Wars, the Punishment Due from Megadeth, where they take it down and then it starts back up again with Marty doing a little riffage and then starts coming back. And I miss that about songs, and I've always wanted to write a song like that. And hopefully one of us will put something together where we just like, yeah, this is our music masterpiece, you know, because I'm still waiting to do that. But as a vocalist, you always got to have the right components around you to kind of make that finally connect and get it there. But yeah, Chimera, one of my favorites. What do you think, Julio? Who do you prefer out of those two killers, Machine Head?
I would say, well, I gotta say Machine Head because I know more Machine Head than I do Chimera. I'm not really that familiar with Chimera, so I gotta side with the guys that I know. You know.
Yeah. What's your favorite from Machine Head? What album was the fucking the hardest?
You know, and it comes down to, out of both of those bands, I know more Machine Head, but I've never was one of those guys that just followed them real closely. You know, I follow their guitar player, you know, Rob, and what he did. But man, I would be lying if I told you I can name one of their albums. You know, I'm not that familiar with them, but I know more of their songs. If I hear their songs, I'll know their songs. I just don't know the names of their songs. Yeah,
I dig it. What do you mean? Yeah. They've got a hell of a catalog too, man. Holy shit, a ton of albums. And you probably know a couple that are coming off their first one. I think I'm talking about Davidian's probably one of the most well known, as well as maybe Old or 1,000 Lies. But that comes off their very first one, Burn My Eyes, and that was a game changer for me when I heard their style, that genre of fucking metal coming out of the Bay Area. Was like, oh shit, I like this shit.
It wasn't it wasn't what was coming out at that time, you know. And the way he riffs on those early albums, at least the songs that I know of, I don't know, he stands alone on the way he plays guitar. I like that grittiness of his distortion. You know, I'm sure people have done it since then, but I think when he started playing in that style, it was kind of stood alone by itself. You know?
Yes, man. I got so much love and respect for Rob Flynn. He is one of those grinders that he's such a badass, and to me he's just he's another Hetfield, you know, in his own for some
reason he always reminded me of Phil. You know, Phil Anselmo. They kind of have the same vibe to him, to me. You know,
that aggression.
Yeah, just because, I mean, I know he was, you know, you're talking vocals and guitar, but they always remind me like they were cousins or something, you know, they were related or some shit, but, you know, they just had the same vibe.
And they were going hard at the same time, too, throughout the 90s. They were those two bands are really pushing and keeping metal alive. And, you know, and Machine Heads, you know, they're one that likes to keep up with the trends, especially back then in the 90s. So they did some things that were more new metal-ish versus the hard metal that they were doing when they first came out. They took some chances, and it's funny because, you know, they may have caught some slack back then. And I remember having friends of mine saying, "Nah, I really don't like it. It kind of sounded like he's trying to rap or rap metal and shit like that."
Yeah.
But here we are, 2023, and that stuff is getting more love now than it ever has. And it's, you know, as artists, we just got to express ourselves. If we're feeling like it's going to feel some rap metal, let's just get it out. You know, obviously we got to get it out of our system. And
we have that in our mentality. You know, we don't write to stay in a certain genre of music. We just write whatever comes out. We got songs that sound new metal. We got songs that are, you know, speed metal. I mean, whatever.
And everything in between.
Yeah.
Right. Fuck yeah. And you know, you got to do what you got to do. And I think the worst thing we could do as a band is kind of like put limits on ourselves, because if it's coming out,
exactly.
Go with the flow, and don't deny it. Just fucking rock it. It's what you do. And the end product's going to be great.
As long as you're having fun playing your music, hey, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
You just hope people like it, but at the end of the day, you got to like it.
Exactly.
So
you got to live with it. That's right. And I think us as being fans of the music, when we create our own music, we're on the right fucking track on knowing what other people are gonna dig too, because we got a good ear for this shit already. And so
we know what we like. So
if we satisfy ourselves, it's gonna fucking it's gonna saturate within our crowd and our public, because you know we can be our worst critics, so we can satisfy ourselves. Definitely, other people are gonna be able to rock off to it.
Oh, you know it. Yeah,
exactly.
I got one more for you, man. And these guys have been at it since the beginning of all this right here, and they've probably got the biggest. Nowadays, it's different because they're at a different age and so much time has passed, and they've already had the reunion shows together. But I'm talking about the grievance and the beef between Dave Mustaine and the guys in Metallica, and how that shit happened. So out of all that, that's one of the biggest metal feuds that started way back in the day, because when Dave got the boot from Metallica, he was like, you know what, motherfuckers? I'm gonna prove to y'all that y'all fucked up, because I'm gonna make a bigger, better, faster, harder band than Metallica was. So fuck you. And you know, and Megadeth is a fucking beast. I can't take anything away from Dave and them, but it's just so tough when you got a band like Metallica that seems to keep setting the standard, you know, with each album they're getting, and it's continually to be bigger and getting a better audience. But the question is, who do you prefer? John, I'm going to ask you first. Are you more of a Metallica fan or more Megadeth fan?
Oh, definitely more Metallica fan. And that's not to take anything away from Megadeth and Dave. Not at all. I'm not taking any respect, you know, where respect's deserved. But just personally, I grew up with Metallica, and Metallica's always been there. And that's all I can say about that is just I've always been I can't think of a moment of my life I wasn't a Metallica fan.
Yeah.
I think I was listening to Metallica before I could walk. You know what I mean? Metallica probably was, you know, shit like freaking Master Puppets album and Justice. That's the shit that I remember being a little bitty, you know, playing with little, you know, what do you call the little green army men and shit, and putting on Metallica's One, so I have the sounds of bombs and shit falling. Oh man, Metallica. I got history with Metallica.
Fuck yes. So tell me.
Don't get me wrong, Megadeth's always been there too.
Yeah.
What do you think, Julio? Who do you prefer? Are you more Megadeth or Metallica?
You know, I'm a fan of both of them, but I think the reason I always side with Metallica is the constant lineup. You know, you have a career span that you know the guys. I mean, they lost Cliff, they lost Newsted, but you knew the lineup. With Megadeth, I always feel like I'm always catching up. Like, oh, okay, they got who's playing drums now? Oh, who's playing? You know, it's always ever evolving. So you got Mustaine, the constant, but everything else always seems to kind of change. Every time I go back and listen to them, oh, that was a different guitar player. Oh, that was a different drummer. So not that I don't like Megadeth, it's just I feel like if you're going off the careers, you got a band that had a constant lineup, and then a band that always kind of evolved. And I know, and that's part of it. That's nothing taken away from them, but it's easier to be a fan of a band that always had that lineup. You know, it's
I dig it. That's a huge point right there, man. And I hadn't really put that in perspective when you put it that way. And you're right, man. When you get the combination of the same artist consistently making music, the same quality keeps coming out. And I'm not saying the quality is not there with Megadeth, but when you keep growing and evolving like that, I think it creates a bigger, better beast. And having the I can't say it any better than the way you did, man. I just think that Metallica having that steady lineup, the stability, makes it easier for us as fans to feel like that's our band. I've known those guys. They've always done this, and I've always pretty much liked everything they've done, versus like, damn, who did Megadeth have on that album? Because it sounds a little different from the next album, and the one different. Even though you always hear vocally and lyrically what's going on with Dave, there's always a little something different from the Marty Friedman to the other guys. But he's always had the best musicians, so that's never been he's compromised on. But
I think that's where, let's say Metallica, releases questionable music. Well, you blame it on them 4 guys, if Megadeth releases a song that's a little questionable, well, you could always blame that new guy that was on drums that year or whatever. And you don't get to just blame your guys. Well, those 4 guys wrote something that wasn't good. You can just blame it on them. And if it's a band that's constantly changing, well, you could always blame the new guy for changing the dynamic of the band. So I like a band where I can just say they wrote something great or they wrote something weak, but at least it's them.
Yeah. And,
still them.
There's like, when I think of like Saint Anger, there's something, what I liked about Saint Anger was the packaging. When you bought the CD, it came with the DVD where you can watch the band playing it live in the studio.
Yeah.
And I love, when I wanted to hear that album, I would put it on that and I'd watch it and hear it,
Same here. That is
that's one of my favorite albums, man. People talk trash about it, but
that's crazy. But same here, man. I'll probably watch that DVD more than I've actually jammed the album.
Man. Sure. It's got the better production. You hear the Marshalls, you hear the drums coming out the way you want to hear it. And so it changes the game. But, Metallica always takes chances, and that's what makes them the big dogs. They first to make movies, first to, put their stage in the center and make it in the round. So that way they can, be closer to the fans, and playing with the symphony, and they just keep changing the game, man. Doing 2 sets and 2 different nights where not repeating any songs. They keep pushing it.
And it's the same 4 guys, I mean, of course, Robert's been with them for longer than Newstead was with them. So
at this point,
Wow.
So
I didn't put the math together, but wow, he's been with them longer than Newstead was already. Shit.
Wow. Since 2003. So 20 years. Yeah.
I love that about them bringing in Robert Trujillo, because to me, being a Hispanic and being in metal, you don't see too many of us in the big big name like that. Like Metallica now, you hear Robert Trujillo, and my mom's maiden name is Trujillo, so I was like,
really?
Fuck yeah. We got a Trujillo in Metallica. Yes. And so it was motivating and inspiring that, hey, one of our guys made it, but it couldn't have been a better guy, because
man,
he's amazing.
Talent.
And I think guy on stage, and he looks like he's part of Metallica. He doesn't look like the odd man out. He's part of it.
Yeah.
The energy he brought to it.
He brought energy, and I think he revitalized the other 3 members, because he has that tremendous amount of energy and artistic presence that when he got in the room with those guys, they were like, we better fucking step up to keep this guy, knowing that, hey, we're the big dogs here still. And he just brought brought the best out of those 3 guys. And as to the whole, they're still one of my favorite bands ever, and they always will be. I love Metallica, and rest in peace, Cliff Burton, for the time that he wrote and did that magic with them, because I loved all that shit. I love it all, man. Well, I tell you what, that was a great conclusion, man. I love finishing off with a couple of our favorite bands that we kind of grew up listening to, being Metallica and Megadeth. And, those bands right there paved the way for what we do and for everybody else that's coming in our metal footsteps. And so got to pay respect to where respect is due. 2 out of the big 4 right there. May those guys keep grinding and keep the future alive and healthy for us in the metal world. And let me ask you, what's coming up next for Count Your Dead? When y'all playing again?
We have a show in Victoria, Texas on the 25th of November.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be hitting it hard in studio with a lot of little project work and about to be releasing probably in the next, I want to say 2 weeks or so, we'll be releasing a single. So, you know, keep an eye open for that one coming. And that's going to be a freaking, it jams, man. It's all
killer.
Yeah.
Well, let me say, so you got Count Your Dead on Facebook. What's your address on Instagram?
Instagram.com. Everything is just / Count Your Dead. All our websites are just Count Your Dead after the / So.
And you can always go to countyourdead.com, our official website, and it has links to everything.
Awesome, man. I did like the website, dude. That's a very thorough website. It's got a lot of great stuff on there, man. Good job. Also, go to the YouTube channel. Everybody checking out the show today. Check out the YouTube channel from Count Your Dead. Catch the Inimical video, catch the Rage video. A lot of great live performances from a lot of different venues around the state as well. Did you get some video on there from the Nevada show? Has that been uploaded to the?
Yeah, if it's not on the YouTube page, it should be on our Facebook page. So
yeah, I caught some on the Facebook page. Very funny, very cool, man. So, man, I had a great time talking with you. Hope you enjoyed the show today, y'all.
Oh man, it's awesome. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for having us.
Definitely.
Thanks so much for the camaraderie, and I appreciate you guys coming in for the kill on the Metal Brotherhood show, man. That show means so much to me, man, because you know Baldy was a best friend of mine, and we grew up in the period of my life where I met my wife, I had my kids, I started my career, and you know, so we became a little bit. We grew up together, and to not have him around anymore is not an easy thing to do, even though our lives, you know, went separate directions because of our families and our jobs and stuff. And it's nothing like being able just to just send a text message to your best friend and say, hey, man, what's happening? You want to get together? And now he's not there for me anymore. But, you know, he made such a great positive impact on my life that I want to make sure that he keeps that spirit alive. And I want to keep that positive thing going for the community. And you guys helped me make that dream stay alive, man. So thank you so much, you, John, you, Julio, and Chris, for coming in there and killing it at the House of Rock, and
it's a pleasure, man.
Jamming again with me, man. Now I got my band War Cult, so hopefully, you know, we keep things alive and going, and we can get together for another jam here pretty soon.
I look forward to it, man. Hell yeah.
Kick ass, brother. Well, Chris, I'm sorry we missed you today, but we'll have to get you in here next time. And Julio, John, thanks so much. You guys were awesome catching up with y'all today and going over a bunch of our favorite topics here. And appreciate you sharing your history and what's been going on with Count Your Dead, man. You guys keep up the great work. Keep grinding. And to everybody watching the show, thanks for watching the show today. And please share it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the Tony Gomez Show on Spotify or your favorite music platforms. And be sure you're checking out Count Your Dead on their Facebook, on their Instagram, and on their YouTube sites. All right. Keep pushing live music. You guys keep it up. Any last words that you guys want to throw in before we say goodbye?
No, man. We appreciate everything you guys done. Thanks for being there pretty much throughout our damn music career. You know, we've always known of you and all the bands you've been a part of. So we appreciate everything you've done to kind of inspire us to get better. You guys were always kind of a beacon of talent we always looked up to and kind of tried to achieve. So we appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate those. Those are very fucking kind words, man. And you guys are masters of what you do. You keep it up and keep grinding. And until we can jam again,
we'll see you out there on the road, man.
You better fucking believe it, man. Well said. Thanks a lot, John. Thanks, Julio. We'll see you next time on the Tony Gomez Show. Y'all keep grinding.
Thanks a lot.